The final group that we are going to look at in this context is Colley, Hodkinson, and Malcolm. And what they've done is they've given us a good comparison, and that's what we are going to look at. According to these three, formal and informal learning have certain features. Let's look at some of these. Informal learning, teacher is the authority. Teacher is in control. Teacher is in charge. Teacher has all the power. In informal learning, no teacher is involved. It happens through friends, through relatives, through cousins, through family, and even through strangers outside. So, one, informal learning, we have an authority figure. In informal learning, we do not have an authority figure. No adult or teacher is involved. Next, educational premises. All learning in formal learning is based on certain premises. If you don't know the alphabets, you won't know words. If you don't know words, you won't know phrases. If you don't know phrases, you won't be able to make sentences and paragraphs and essays and stories and so on. So there are premises. You need the basics. You need the foundation in order to build higher up. If you don't have the foundation, or if your foundations or basic skills are weak, you will struggle as you move up the school career ladder. In informal learning, non-educational premises take over. You don't need any basics. You can pick up, you can learn randomly. You don't need to know something in order to learn something more in addition. And so, if you look, formal learning happens in a hierarchy. 1, 2, 3, 4, and from top down or bottom up. In informal learning, it happens like a sphere from all directions. Information hits you, content hits you, skills hit you from all different directions. You pick up the ones you need and you move on. In formal learning, the teacher is in control, the teacher is in charge. Everything that happens in a classroom is decided by the teacher. In informal learning, the learner has the control. What is it that I need to learn? What is it that I need to pick up? What is it that I'm looking for? And the learner decides what the learner wants to keep and what the learner does not want to keep. In formal learning, however, the teacher makes the decision and the learner or the student has to live with that decision, fulfill that decision, meet all the requirements of that decision that somebody else has made. So, three differences between formal and informal learning. There are more. Formal learning is planned and structured. Teachers have to plan a lesson. Even if I've taught English to grade 5 for 20 years, I still need to plan my next lesson for English grade 5. I cannot just walk into a class and do it. And it has to be structured. Even the teacher's plan is structured. Start with, how do I build? What do I say? How does the lesson move from what I am doing to what we, the student and the teacher, do together to what you do on your own? It's the I, we, you method of teaching. In informal learning is rather organic and evolving. It evolves, it changes, it develops as the need arises. So, three siblings from the same family living in the same house are very different. Why? Because, number one, they are three different people, and number two, their learning is different. They each learns from within the family what each one wants to pick up and learn. In formal learning, there is summative assessment and accreditation. In other words, you have to sit for an exam. That's summative. The final exam, which all students dread. I don't know of any student who loves exams. In informal learning, there is no assessment. There are no tests, quizzes, or exams. And that's the reason why informal learning tends to stay with the student. There is no fear of failure in informal learning. Formal learning is externally determined objectives and outcomes. Somebody has said, this is why we need to teach, and these are the student learning outcomes. Even for us in Pakistan, if you look at the 2006 curriculum documents, which are our latest curriculum documents, student learning outcomes for every topic, for every subject, for every grade level are mentioned there. Where is the teacher? While in informal learning, internally determined objectives, the student, the learner, the individual decides what I'm going to learn, and because of what I learned, what am I going to show?